Hello everybody and welcome back to another Yap Sesh. This is a series I made so I had an excuse to talk about gacha games I like. Just kidding, I don't need an excuse. Now, this video has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to put it out for a while, I just haven't because, life stuff, but today's topic is Umamusume Pretty Derby. For those of you who don't know Umamusume, it is a Japanese gacha game made by Sai Games that was released globally on June 26, 2025, which is also the same day that Persona 5 The Phantom X came out, and guys, I chose wrong, because Phantom X is the one I played first that I have since dropped, so haha. My brother was really big into Uma, right when it first came out, and he was like, hey Adrian, you should start playing this game. So I did. And I shit you not, guys, this is actually one of my favorite games, currently at the time. I do want to start engaging with other Umamusume related content, like the anime, which I am going to start watching soon. But as of right now, I'm just playing Pretty Derby, and I am loving it. So for this video, I am using it as an excuse to talk about my current favorite 5 Umas, but first I want to talk about why I love the game so much. To start off, I think it's important to mention that sports anime and the like is one of my favorite genres of media. The reason for that is I am someone that does not handle death in really any capacity very well. When I watch shows or read books, I grow very attached to characters, so I don't handle their deaths very well. Or injuries or them being in mortal danger. When a certain character in Final Fantasy 16 died, my mom genuinely was concerned for me. She thought something actually happened. She was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was just an inconsolable mess over pixels on a screen. It also doesn't help that there's a running joke in my house for not even almost, literally my entire childhood and teenhood, that my favorite character in any piece of media was cursed to die, because every single piece of media I consumed with my parents or siblings, my favorite character would die or get mortally injured or get written out without fail every single time. Every single time. Now, how does this tie back into sports anime? Well, sports anime is always portrayed as high stakes, and if it's done well, then you feel the pressure for every character and want them all to succeed, thus making it so every game that is played feels like life and death without the actual risk of anyone dying. Now, don't get me wrong, bad things can still happen, like illness or injury, but nobody is ever really in any life-threatening situations. This is also one of the reasons why I love Haikyuu so much, because each character is lovable in their own way to the point that it's difficult to even watch certain matches because you want both sides to win. It's emotional and you just you get so emotionally invested. But again, nobody dies, nobody gets mortally wounded. It's just, they just get their dreams crushed. Just a casual little smush of their dreams. And you know what? I can handle that. Umamusume is the same way, and it goes doubly because the game is overwhelmingly positive. Every character has their own unique struggles and goals, and bad things do happen to them sometimes, yes, but each character is able to overcome those struggles and reach their goal. The trainer also always adapts themselves to be able to help each Uma without trying to change their unique personalities. Like King Halo, for example. When she wanted to go through a crazy trek through the woods at summer camp with nothing but her phone, trainer didn't really try to convince her not to. They brought a map, they brought a compass, they brought some water and food, and we were there to bail her out when she needed it. Even the rivalries in Uma are portrayed so well. There's never really any negative feelings behind the rivalries. The most recent one I witnessed was when I did Mejiro Ryan's career, and her rivalry with McQueen was so well done. Ryan admitted to being jealous of McQueen and comparing herself to her entire life. But despite those feelings, Ryan never harbored any ill will or negative feelings towards McQueen because she respects and looks up to her so much. To be perfectly honest, Ryan was a character whose career I did relatively recently, but she was also a character I saw a lot of in various support card scenes, and most notably in Nice Nature's career, and I honestly did not expect Ryan to be a character whose main struggle that she needed to overcome was her self-esteem issues. Even though my preconceived perception of the character made it feel like those issues completely came out of left field, they felt so natural in the context of seeing Ryan before her debut and watching her grow into the character we see during Nadi's career. I love Ryan, guys. Recency bias maybe, but I love her, but she will not be appearing in my top 5 list because she did not make top 5. I'm sorry. I do love her though. But yeah, without further ado, I am going to get talking about my top 5 Umas. I'm going to talk about them in an order for the video, but that's not the order for how much I like them relative to the others, because I had difficulty putting them in an actual order, okay? Okay. Manhattan Cafe is my most recent addition to this list because I got her the most recently. I pulled on her on day one because I really liked her design and I found her career to be very compelling as well. I always admired how Pretty Derby was able to tell such a unique story with each character, despite the career itself being so similar between them. And I really loved the added twist for like why Manhattan Cafe started racing in the first place. Her trying to catch up to her otherworldly friend was such a good hook, and they added all of these supernatural elements to her career without it feeling forced or unbelievable or really even out of place at all, despite her being so different from the other Umas. I love my girl so much, and I also find the fact that the Academy just decided that Manhattan Cafe had to be Tacheon's like company mandated babysitter. I just find that so hilarious. Next up is Tokai Teo. She's kind of my first love. I pulled the Red Phoenix version of her with my first few pulls. I know this might be a bit controversial, or at least I've seen opinions to the contrary, but I really like how Teo is portrayed in her career and in Pretty Derby in general. I did see a few people complain that she was a little bit more childish than she was in comparison to the anime, and I can't really speak on that because I haven't consumed both pieces of media, but my brother has watched everything, and he told me that most people actually don't think that, and I probably just ran into a few like haters or something. I don't know. But either way, Teo has this unbreakable bravado that almost comes across as arrogance, but just doesn't quite make it there because there's really like no malice behind it. She's upbeat and positive to a fault, which makes it that much more impactful when she does lose her way, like before the Kikuka show or after the Tenno show, whether she wins or loses against McQueen. I also love her and Simboli Rudolph. I find them to be so funny together on both sides of the relationship. And honestly, my love for Teo also stems from other people's careers as well, in particular Rudolph and Nice Nature. Nice Nature's career is really interesting because Nady views Teo as this insurpassable wall that she cannot cross. She frequently refers to Teo as the main character and that it's obvious that she should win because of the fact that she was born a main character. During Nady's career, we see Teo training while she's in rehabilitation from her injury. And as always, Teo seems very positive and very upbeat, and Nady comments on the fact that of course Teo would bounce back from an injury like that, and of course it wouldn't bother her because she's just this main character, so of course it doesn't bother her. And then Mayano Top Gun walks by and hears all this and tells Nady that she wasn't so sure because she saw Teo crying a lot during the start of like her rehabilitation. And Nature considers this and then acknowledges that Teo was not born as this main character who the world revolves around, but rather is the same as Nady herself and all the other Umamusume who lose sometimes, despite trying their hardest and are forced to face tough times and decisions. Teo being able to bounce back and stand up is what makes her so strong, but just because she's able to do that doesn't mean that she doesn't struggle as well. Then there's Rice Shower, and come on guys, who doesn't love Rice Shower? From her main story itself to her career, Rice Shower's growth is one of my favorite ones to witness in the game. From starting out totally convinced that she's this omen of misfortune, to being able to see herself as a blue rose that brings other people happiness. I could go on and on about how much I love Rice Shower, and I also love all of her interactions with the others, like Bourbon. Oh, Bourbon and Rice Shower, I love them, they're so cute. McQueen, Rob Roy, and Urara, I love how all of them assure Rice that even when bad things happen, they're able to make happy memories despite those bad things or because of those bad things. I also have Vampire Rice Shower, and she's very cute, and I love her very much. She is definitely in the top 3, 100%. Next up is Falco, Smart Falcon. I pulled her when I was trying to get Vampire Rice Shower, and I was kind of disappointed, but I still did her career right away because I needed a dirt runner. And oh my god, guys. The way I cried like a baby during Falco's career. Honestly, most of the careers in Uma have made me cry at one point or another during it, but Falco's, it was like actually 3 separate occasions. It was really the perfect storm just because I had inspiration. So the first career I ever did with Falco, she actually won the Satsuki show, which, you know, she doesn't have turf aptitude. So this was like capturing lightning in a bottle. And in my opinion, having that perspective makes Falco's career even sadder. Like, you watch how hard she works herself to the brink of exhaustion, and everyone praises her and tells her, oh, you're rejuvenating dirt racing. You're like the reason it's so popular. But none of her experiences ever live up to winning the Satsuki show just because it's a turf race and they're more popular. And every time Falco sees the dirt races falling short of being just as popular as a turf race, she sees it as a failure of herself. Especially because, again, that Satsuki show win was lightning in a bottle. She doesn't have turf aptitude normally, and she's not really cut out for long races either. So even though, like, the Satsuki show is a medium race, I will say that, but, like, she's not cut out for long races, so, like, there's no hope of her ever being able to, like, run in, like, these really, really big prestigious races like the Ari McKinnon or the Spring Tenno show. So because of that, there's, like, this added feeling of just, like, not only never being able to reach your goal of seeing a stage like that again on a dirt, like, in a dirt racing setting, but also, like, the feeling of hopelessness of, like, probably never being able to win another turf G1. Like, literally, it's just that rock and a hard place, and you watch her struggle with it, and it's just so well done. I love Falco, guys, and her coming to be proud of her accomplishments and her fans, and seeing how much she's done, and actually taking the time to bask in the joy of that accomplishment instead of robbing it through the comparison of a past experience is just so beautiful and just such a good message, because comparison is the thief of joy. And lastly is Haru Urara. I feel like I don't really need to explain this one. Urara is just such a fun character because of her unending optimism. I love her growth and how she comes from being almost completely carefree to really feeling that frustration after losing the Ari McKinnon, but she still never loses her positivity. She constantly raises those around her spirit just by being herself, and everyone just needs a Haru Urara in their life. Now, I can mention so many different Umas like Nice Nature, Tikizo, Taishin, Gold City, because every career has been so good, and there's also tons of, like, Umas who I haven't gotten to really experience yet because I don't have them on my account. But what I love about Pretty Derby so much is the realism in which it portrays its characters without ever losing the positive outlook and growth through hardship. Play Pretty Derby. Also, I just pulled Tamamo Cross, and I'm about halfway through her career, and she honestly might overthrow somebody on this list because I really like her as well. But yeah, this has been my App Sesh. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next one.